I think most of you know who I am. I'm Janet Morana. I co-founded the Selling to More Awareness campaign. And of course, healing the shockwaves of abortionist initiative really has a very deep meaning for me. Because, you know, I've been involved in pro-life for many years. This is my 26th March for Life. I always spoke to my daughters. I have 3 daughters, Jennifer, Tara, and Kelly. And they knew Mommy was pro-life. I had brought them with our parish priest, Father Pavone, to Washington, D.C. for marches. And of course, then when I was working full-time for Priests for Life, I came for several days and they had to stay in school, so they stopped coming to Washington. But they knew my work. We talked about if you were ever in an unplanned pregnancy, Mommy would always help, etc., etc. Well, my daughter Kelly, when she was away at school in Michigan, and unbeknownst to me, had an abortion. She was in fragile health. She was a type 1 diabetic. The abortion clinic should have never done this abortion on her, no medical history. And she hid that abortion from me. She dropped out of the school she was in Michigan after 7 months, and she claiming she was homesick, she couldn't cope, it was too much, and she blamed her diabetes. So she came home. She took a little break. We got her back in college. She went to a local school in Staten Island. And again, never told me about her abortion. About a year later, she was in between, she took a break from school again because of her health. And she told me she was going for a job interview. And she flew to Dallas, Texas. She was trying to get a job with the airlines. She didn't tell me at first. She just kind of, oh, by the way, Mom, kind of thing. And I was in the midst of a trip in California, so she did this while I was away. I was at home. I'm out in California speaking, and I get a phone call that she's in Dallas. She had just gone to the abortion clinic that I had actually been and prayed and witnessed in front of, and sidewalk counsel in front of, the Fairmont Clinic. And she was experiencing pain and complications from the abortion. First of all, I was stunned, obviously. I didn't know it, but I had to think quick. I'm miles away. Thank God I know so many pro-lifers in Dallas because of my work. I called my dear friend John Everett, and I told him the story. He drove, got her, brought her to the emergency room. She was still pregnant. They hadn't aborted the child. And so he took care of her, put her on the plane. I flew home. We got, we thought we were going to have a baby. And, we were dealing with this. And then about 6 weeks later, she miscarried. I never knew about the first abortion until the second one. And then she finally told me about the first one. I kept reviewing what I had or hadn't done. I kept asking myself, as a parent, I always taught my girls about, birth control was wrong, we were Catholics. I told them, though, if you ever became pregnant, please, Mommy's here to help you. I tried examining everything I did or didn't do. Was it because I was so, public figure? Was she afraid? And she said, Mom, I didn't want to disappoint you. And so we went for a healing program. We actually did the Hope Alive healing program. We went for a week up in British Columbia, Canada, together for an intensive week of abortion recovery. And of course, Kelly's doing okay now. She went on and she went to graduate school. And she later met the man of her dreams, Mike, in Piazza, and she's married now and lives in Florida. And Kelly, Kelly really said to me, Mom, when you're speaking today, make sure to use my name, because you'll have 3 daughters, that they know which one made this mistake. And she said, she's sorry she did it. And so when I talk about my grandbabies, and so many of you hear about my grandbabies, well, I have 2 living grandchildren, but I also have 2 in heaven. And I'm telling you this story now because of the shockwaves, and to say that I'm not the only one. I've met now many people who've come to me in the pro-life movement who told me, yes, my daughter had an abortion. And so we have to not be afraid to talk about this among ourselves. And also, we have to forgive ourselves. I mean, I internally beat myself up with not telling anybody for a very long time. You know, just our family knew, and, you know, that was it. And when I think about it now, I probably could have even helped more people had I been more public about it. My book, Recall Abortion, when I was writing it, Kelly said to me, well, tell Father Frank he could put a line or two about you know, my abortion in the book. So if you read the book carefully, this wasn't a surprise. You knew my daughter had an abortion. But I'm telling you now today, so that if you know someone who is a grandparent who lost a child to abortion, that we need healing too. And for me, it was very healing to go with my daughter and deal with those feelings together and work through, you know, how come, and what did I do? And so, spread the word about healing. I'm hoping one day we're even going to do a Rachel's Vineyard retreat. It's just been a scheduling issue, but know that hope and healing is available, and know that it's okay to talk about it. And it's okay that you're pro-life and there was a mistake made in your family, and I'm going to be, from this point forward, silent no more about losing my grandchild to abortion. Thank you.